What is up there, Misfits? Welcome to Pages of Ascension, or welcome back if you've been hanging out for a while. This is going to be your Zodiac season guide reading for cardinal signs. If you're not privy to that, cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, okay? And it's for the season of Taurus. So Taurus season runs April 19th through May 20th. And these are specifically dated readings, so this is for 2020. Now, that doesn't mean that if you run across this after the month of, after Taurus season in 2020, that it won't resonate. Okay, you ran across it for a reason, so go ahead and check it out, all right? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to make sure that you keep up on all the new content that I'm going to have coming out here. And of course to like the video before you head off to the next. Now, I appreciate your patience as I get these particular cards out, because I am pulling a total of 7, and that takes a little time to fully get out on the table, okay? So just bear with me. All right, we are good to go. So, beautiful. Okay, so cardinal signs, your message is very similar to that of mutable signs in that you are being guided by a divine force. So I consider this particular card to be one of like your guardian angel kind of leading the way. With it being next to creativity, I specifically feel like you're being guided through the creative process. So there may be something that you've been specifically working on or nurturing to come into fruition. And I would say even to some point you've come into a stall and trying to figure out the best way to go about that. A little bit of defensiveness energy is what I'm picking up, and that could be defensiveness about either what it is that you do or the method in which you execute what you do, okay? The goal or the tipping point for you for Taurus season is to go with the flow. So I feel like to some degree, like especially because going with the flow is surrounded by the Queen of Swords, or what would technically be the Queen of Swords in traditional tarot, and the Five of Wands. It speaks to like more specifically a feminine energy. I would say a feminine air energy, possibly Aquarius, that is somehow the hang up in going with the flow in whatever this is that you have planned, okay? So I feel like whatever this creative idea is that you have, judgment is being passed on this. So this is a period of time where I feel like if this, whatever this is, whatever this particular project it is that you've got going, number one, I'm feeling very much a put up or shut up energy, okay? But on the second end of that, I'm feeling like it's going to become very clear to you whether the path that you're on or whatever this is that you're choosing is going to actually be beneficial to you or not. I feel like part of the hang up, especially when going with the flow, is that you're a little stuck in your head. This is possibly, again, on how to execute this idea, or it could just have to do with the surrounding energies that you feel are blocking you. So that would be this idea of structure and things having to be a certain way. Like, I feel like a lot of rigidity with this particular card, and that rigidity is causing some defensiveness. So it's like, even if you had the help available to you, you wouldn't recognize it because you're being so rigid in how you approach what you're doing. Okay? And that's preventing this go with the flow. However, I do feel like, judgment is being passed. Like, now is the time. That's what you've been guided to do. Like, and I feel like you're going to see some growth. Okay, so if you're someone who hasn't launched your idea yet, you're going to see something or come across some type of information that lets you know, okay, yes, this is definitely the right path. This is definitely the right information. Like, this just, some type of synchronicity to let you know that you're on the right track, to keep going, to keep pursuing what you're doing, okay? Now, the guidance that, the path that you've been guided to lead, you're coming into some type of union. So I don't know if this is like just an actual union between you and someone else, or if this has to do with union of multiple ideas that you've had and you're bringing those into fruition together, or if it's just, union within self. But I do feel like something is finally coming together. This is technically the Four of Wands in traditional tarot. And so I feel like something is coming to fruition for you. Now, I feel like I got interrupted when I was speaking to those who haven't quite gone to market or whatnot with their idea or whatever thing that they're doing. For you, it's the synchronicity that this idea that you've had on the back burner or that you're working on is actually the correct path for you. So you'll receive some type of synchronicity. Maybe this message is a synchronicity for you. But I do feel like it's going to come outside of this reading because you're still in your head trying to figure out exactly why this specific idea has come to you and what it all means. Like, how is it gonna come out to be successful? How is it gonna materialize? Okay, and you're not gonna see how it's going to materialize because that's not the point for you. The point for you right now is to go with the flow, and that's what you're being guided to do. Okay, so let's look at what your theme is, and the theme is spirituality. So this actually might have something to do specifically with your spirituality. You might be entering a spiritually based business. You might already be in a spiritually based business. And this is what this is talking about. This also could have to do with just the morality of what you're trying to do within your what you were doing spiritually. So the best example that I have for this is like those who come from a very traditional religious background and they go into a spiritual practice such as reading tarot. And there can be a lot of trying to reconcile that for some people because of the way that esoteric sciences are viewed, okay? You're being guided this way for a reason, okay? And I don't feel like this is anything negative because that's your guardian angel in front of you, okay? Right here. So it's like you're here and here's your guardian angel and that's where you're being led, okay? I do feel like whatever creative idea that you have, it's good. I'm feeling like it's good. And it's like the judgment that's being passed is you seeing somehow, like, I'm not saying you're going to see your idea on the market, but I think you might start to see some themes of the idea that you've been working on through other people. Like, I don't know if that's coming out on the news or you're watching, like, other YouTubers, for example, or even, like, something in a movie. You could get your synchronicity in a movie to let you know that this is the correct path for you to go on, okay? So let's go ahead and look at some clarifiers for you. And I want to, I think I will actually pop into the Lenormand to look at the spirituality card, just because that is a little broad. And I want to look at the creativity card, the morality card. So yeah, I think those are the two that I really feel like need clarifying. Okay. So Okay, I never noticed that on this card before, but my eyes quite literally went right to it. I'm not going to point it out on camera because this is YouTube. And I don't want to get the video reported, but there is legit a penis in this card. So, I feel like that's telling you to invest in your masculine energy. Even though creativity is inherently a feminine energy, it's the action that brings something to fruition. That's masculine energy. The action is the masculine energy. The seed of the idea is the feminine energy, okay? And I feel like that's necessary for you. You know, here's your idea, okay? And legit, there's a penis in this card. I totally got distracted by that. Okay, so you also ended up with the youth and the hero. So this could be telling you, if you have children specifically, part of your synchronicity of your idea might come from them. For those of you that have been following me for a while, like something that you've heard me say is that there can be wise counsel that come from the mouth of babes. It can happen. Like, it's very easy to dismiss children and be like, oh, you're a kid, you don't have the life experience, what do you know? But the thing is, children are very innocent in how they look at things. It can be very black and white for them. So there's actually a lot of information that you could get about your idea, I would say, presenting this to your kids. Granted, of course, you know, age and appropriateness for your idea. But I do feel like, you know, for some of you, your kid is your hero. Or your children are your hero. And I do feel like whatever creative process that you've got in mind might actually should involve them. Let's look a little bit more into this morality card, and maybe that's the moral compass that you're having issues with. So say, for example, you're someone who wants to start a YouTube channel and it's something that you would like to include your kids in, but you're coming at the crossroads as to whether or not having your children on your YouTube channel is actually something that's healthy for them. And we're talking regardless of like the COPPA laws or whatnot. It's something that you're trying to decide if exposing them to that amount of social media is actually something that is healthy for them. So, yeah, if that's the case, that might be why this morality card is also coming up. But let's go ahead and take a look. Whew, okay. Yeah. Double-edged sword. So, oh, that's so many cards. Okay, we're going to take the one on the top. So, for some of you, this is very much kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, is what I feel. Yeah, at least that's how you feel. That's the mindset that you currently have, is that you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because either way you look at it, like, either way you look at it, there's going to be some kind of quote-unquote blood spilled. So, let me put it this way. It's like, this is starting to feel a lot like someone telling the truth about something or coming out with something. For some people, this could be a book specifically. And I say, if this is the case, this book that you're writing is something that is literally going to rock the foundation of something, whether that is your family, your industry, your business specifically. Like, I do feel like what is written is going to cause a transformation in some type of situation. So for some of you, this creative idea that you have is specifically a book. Okay? And it's like, while you're going to be telling the truth, that truth is going to expose some people or some things. And there is going to be some fallout. However, I feel like judgment has been called on this situation. This is where you're being led, so that is what you should do. Okay. Actually, I kind of want to... Let's dig into this one with the Kipper. More. Okay, so it could be literally about traveling someplace that you've visited. There is wealth for you if you write this book. So for those of you specifically that this has to do with, like a book, a manuscript, like a play, there, and it has to do with traveling. I'm feeling very inherently like steampunk genre. There is money in that for you. There is a lot of success for you in pursuing this particular idea. So I would run with it, okay? Now, I want to look at the spirituality card. So if it's like a spiritual travel. So spiritual travel would be like astral traveling, doing work in the ethers. It could specifically be a book talking about that, and I do feel like that's going to be very successful if that's your idea. There is money in this for you. There is justice for you in this book if you write it. So I'm heavily being encouraged to push you to actually write this book. And then we've got writer on spirituality. So this is someone coming in with a secret, okay? Something that... something to enlighten you. It's going to spiritually enlighten you, whatever message this is from this person. Okay? It's like the missing key, the missing piece of information that you didn't know that you needed, and that's what's going to help you launch into this, okay? So let's go ahead and look at what your message is for the season, and it says, never a crowd on the leading edge. Honor those who honor you. So this card specifically talks about where you invest your time and who you invest your time in, okay? So it's like, for example, if you're investing your time into someone who's very much in this Queen of Swords energy, they never have anything good to say. It's always, if you do this, you're wrong, and, you know, that's evil or whatnot. Pick how that resonates for you, okay? But if you're always dealing with someone who's in that energy and you notice that you seem to miss a lot of opportunities, it might be time for you to exit stage left on this particular friendship, okay? I feel like, yeah, I feel like they're the trigger for that. And ultimately, it is saying to watch who you surround yourself with, because sometimes people's energy can sabotage things that you've got going on for yourself, okay? That's whether or not you speak to them. These are just people who are energy vampires, okay? So I do feel like this is specifically talking about watching who you contact, who you're keeping in contact with, who's in your inner circle right now, and do they actually mean you any good, okay? So let's look at where you are on your spiritual ascension for Taurus season is perseverance. It says, I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Damn straight you can, because the mind is a very powerful tool, okay? So follow your intuition, all right? The things that you're getting, that you're picking up, the downloads that you're getting, that's coming from your spiritual team, okay? That's the guidance. I'm trying to see if it was going to focus. It's not going to focus. Okay, so I feel like the guidance that you are actually receiving, whether this is spiritual in nature as like a download, or if it's something that you're physically hearing someone say that you speak with, something that is illumined to you, I do feel like these are keys for the direction that you should pursue, okay? So just as a quick review, for some people, this specifically has to do with your children. Okay, for others of you, this is writing a book that is going to expose something in a company. And then for others of you, I do feel like this is a book that you're writing that has to do with spiritual journeys specifically. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe before you take off to the next video. I greatly appreciate it. I've got so much gratitude for each and every one of you. And remember, of course, if you take nothing else from this, remember your peace is your power, okay? I'll see you.